Hey guys, Tara with the T here from Recovering Book Hoarder, and I am going to do a normal floss tube today. I have quite a bit to talk about. I actually leave to go to Myrtle Beach tomorrow, so I figured if I tape today, then I can do editing while I'm traveling, and it would work out perfectly. So, let's start with my stitching. I have worked on 7. I've worked on 8 projects since I last showed you anything. I started and finished did a SAF, one thing. I finished 2 whips. I started another new whip. I DNF'd something. Not DNF'd. That's not what we call it here. DNF did not fit. I mean, I did DNF it. We usually talk about books that way. We typically call it UFO, unfinished object. So I UFO'd something, and then worked on 1, 2, 3 existing whips. So I have been definitely focusing much better since I had my whip parade. And I'm actually really enjoying it. Okay, so let's talk about, first, let's look at my UFO. So I got this out to work on it, and I finished another piece of it. This is one of my absolute oldest whips that I have going on, and I'm not in love with it, and I'll explain to you why, and why I ultimately made the decision to DNF it. Why do I keep saying that? To UFO it. And that is my soulmate Sal from Creatively Crafting. So what I finished was, I finished Baby and Johnny from Dirty Dancing, right there. And okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. So like I said, this is one of the very first things I ever did. I started this before I even knew what linen was. So it is on a piece of Aida. I choose, which I'll talk a little bit about this later, but I choose my fabric now based on the types of stitches that are in the project. And this project has a ton of quarter stitches and half stitches and lots of back stitch, and that's fine. Like, I'm trying to see if I can show you a good, like, let's come in close on Ricky and Lucy, and I think if you look real close, you'll be able to see all the half stitches there. Tons. Okay, I have nothing against half stitches or against quarter stitches, fractionals. I have nothing against specialty stitches when it's done on linen. My finger hurts so bad from pushing through the middle of the Aida square. You can absolutely do quarter stitches and everything on Aida, like I just showed you, but it's not, to me at least, it is not enjoyable. It's kind of painful because because the needle really does not want to go through the middle of that square. Maybe if I used not a tapestry needle, but instead used one that was like, you know, a pointy needle, a sharp needle, it will work better. But in any case, so what happened was, okay, I finished Baby and Johnny. I was like, I'm getting this thing done. I'm finishing this project. Even though I hate working on it, I've been going on it so long, it'll be fine. So first of all, so in Baby and Johnny, there's some counting mistakes. And I usually don't show you guys exactly where my errors are. I usually just say, embrace the mistakes, and you know, and mistakes make it your own. In this case though, okay, so I'm gonna show you this. So look at Johnny. See Johnny's hand. Yeah, he looks a little, it's not proportionally correct, and that's because I messed up my counting there. But I was like, I'm not frogging. Didn't want to. And then when I was working on, I also messed up baby. You can tell I messed up the proportion in here. And then I messed up Johnny's in here. That count's not correct between here and here. It's fine. Like, it would be fine. Okay. And there's lots of mistakes in all of them. But then I moved on to, over here was supposed to be, here was going to be Danny and Sandy from Grease. And I, after I got through with that, where I am now, I realized I had made yet another counting mistake. And the kind of counting mistake I was not going to be able to fudge. So I was going to have to frog and redo it. And I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. I despise working on it. I hate working on this so bad. So I think what I'm going to be doing, I mean, I did, you know, I finished a 4 of the 6. So my thought is, I think I might turn each of these into little pillows, maybe, that I can put out. Or maybe I'll just cut them into individual, carefully cut them into individual things and scrapbook them or something. So I don't care about you. First of all, this was a lot of floss. This was like a pretty generic fabric, so I'm not worried about like undoing it and reusing it. So we're going to figure out something to do with each of these little vignettes here. But for all intents and purposes, this has been UFO'd. I dekitted it, and so the DNC is DNC. Wow, I'm having fun talking today. The DMC is back in into my master collection. So that's my UFO object. Okay. I finished another very long-term project. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen it already. This is winter, I was calling it winter sampler, but I don't think that's actually what it's called. What's it called? Seasons? It might be called like Sampler Seasons. I call it, it's the winter one, and it's from Little Dove Designs. And here is my finish. And I'm so happy this is done. Now, again, since it was one of my first things I ever worked on, there's a lot of stuff I did not understand. And so moving back, I would have done things differently. Let me show you some of the changes that I made. So first of all, this is just a Charles Craft 14 count printed Ada. Okay. It's a pretty printed Ada. It's great. However, the original picture, which I don't think I have, I don't think I have it near me. The original was on a navy. And I understand now why it was on navy. There's a lot of, you can see a lot of white and stuff in here. Lighter colors that really have a harder time showing up on not a dark background. At this point, when I started this, I had never even heard of a floss toss, so I didn't do that. Had I done that, I would have either made changes to all of the floss, or I would have chosen a different fabric. In addition, as you can see, this is how, I mean, I have like 3 squares left on that side and like 4 or 5 on this side. No margins. So what am I going to do with this? I don't really know. So it should have been on a much bigger fabric. So, I also, okay, so, well, let me show you some of my changes. So this part was worked. This was like the first thing I did, was this middle Jerusalem here. And it's showing up much better on camera than it does in person. It's really not the best colors. Like you can see those camels? Like those camels are really hard to see in person on that wall. And then I did this part here, and then I worked on this tree, and then here, And then I was like, I've been doing this long enough, I can change colors. So this fireplace here was supposed to be white, and I decided that you were not going to see it if it was white, so I changed that. Oops. I changed it to gray so you could actually see it. And then the like this right here was supposed to be white. These were supposed to be white, the tips of those. And so I changed all that so you could see it better. The other thing is that there was a few French knots on here. And I don't know what my problem is, but I could do a French knot. I'm not saying they were good, okay, because I'm going to show them to you. I, at one time, could do a French knot. So this is what my French knots look like. I mean, they're terrible. They're terrible French knots. Don't get me wrong. I'm aware they are bad, all right? But I was able to do them. I have been trying to do French knots over the last several months using the exact same tutorial I used to learn how to do this. And I cannot, for the life of me, get it to stay as not. It just pulls through the fabric. Like, I can't, and I've tried all different fabrics at this point, different thicknesses of floss. I watched a new tutorial and used that one instead. I cannot do a French knot anymore. So there were supposed to be French knots for the eyeballs of these kids, and so I just, and the eyeballs of the little kids, and for that that bird. And I decided they were just going to be eyeless. So no eyeballs, because I had just had it up to here with the French knots. So yeah, so I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why I can't do a stinking French knot, even a bad one. I would be happy to do a bad one if I could just get it to stay as a knot in the fabric and not just pull through the fabric. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, now that that's done. So lots of changes towards the end, but a lot of this is like as charted over on this side. So this is more of my like personalized side, because I change floss colors all the time now. And this was the more as charted side in the middle, and yeah. Fun design. I really enjoyed it, you know, when I could have it in a hoop, but because it had no margins, I couldn't have it in my Q-snap at the end, you know, whenever I was doing these sides. And I am sorry, but I am just not an in-hand stitcher. I don't enjoy it. It hurts my hands. I can't figure out what to do with my extra fabric. Like, I don't enjoy in-hand stitching. So that made it not as enjoyable, but I actually really enjoyed the stitch. So like I said, Little Dove Designs, Sampler for All Seasons, I think maybe is what it's called. It's the winter one. I do have a summer one that's a carnival to do still. Now here's my question for you. What am I going to do with this? How do I finish this? I had considered doing a project bag, but I think it's too big to turn into a project bag. I was going to see if my mom could do that. So I'm thinking not a project bag. I thought about a pillow, but I don't know if that's possible with these margins. It can't be framed. So anybody have any thoughts on how I could finish this with these ridiculous margins that I have? I'm open to ideas. Thank you in advance. Okay, so that was a finish. Then I had a small finish. So this one is from the book Christmas Gnomes from Maggie Smith. This is available on Amazon. This one was called, they have like very generic names. This one was called Holly Red with Gold Trim. So this is what the original looked like here. The only thing I changed was the color hair. Now, you see what colors this shows, but I'm going to show you what it actually looks like with the charted colors. It doesn't look like that. So the the photographed or digital rendering or whatever is quite off, I feel. That's like, that red doesn't look anything like that. It's fine though. I actually prefer, I think, how it turned out. So, like I said, her, the hair I just decided to do gray hair instead of the white because the white wasn't really going to show up very well. But other than that, I mean, it's fun. There was just a couple of back stitches, not very many. I did this on a scrap piece of Picture This Plus Ada, I think 18 count maybe, either 16 or 18 count. But I'm going to turn her into a little ornament. And I think she's super cute. So this one I had started this year, but I was like, I can finish this without a problem. Okay, so that one. And then my last finish, and this was my start and finish. So this is from the book Cross Stitch for the Earth from Emma Congdon, otherwise known as Stitchrovia. I love this book. There are so many that I want to do in here. And then I started thinking as I was looking through it, like, even if I choose not to do all of the full things, there's so many good animals in here that I love stitching animals. So I'm thinking about maybe doing like an animal sampler, just using like random animals I find in different charts. So this one is Be Kind to All That Live, and I used Fox and Rabbit. Which one is this? Cameo. 18 count cameo from Fox and Rabbit. And this is a gift for my friend, one of my work besties, Vanessa. And I'm so happy with how this turned out. So be kind to all who live. And look, I mean, the details, look at this dragonfly. I love that dragonfly. There's just a little bit of backstitch, but is all that backstitch, you absolutely need it. Like, it's 100% worth it. So yeah, that's the accurate coloring right there. I think it's so good. So I need to fully finish this one like in the next couple of weeks so I can give it to her, because it's not like, of course, it was just, I saw it and I thought of her. So I want to finish it and then put it on her desk for her one day when she comes in. Okay, so those were my finishes. Let's take a look at, oh, and I should have said, okay, so how many stitches did it take for me to finish those things? So for Be Kind, that was a total of 5,084 stitches, done over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done over 6 days. So it was a 6-day stitch. The Gnome, 1,233 stitches to finish. And then for the Winter Sampler, I had to do 2,538 stitches to finish that. Then that Soulmate Sal, I gave up after 780 stitches and 2 sittings. So, I mean, I have way more sittings than that, but this actual time that I did it, that's how many sittings I had. Okay. Starts. So I started from Plum Street Samplers, the Tired Trio, which are sloths, and I adore sloths. They're like hands down one of my favorite creatures ever. I am doing this on a piece of 36 count Atomic Ranch Tea Rose, and as charted. So I got done 1,189 stitches to start. Now, this is let me show you the whole fabric. This is the fabric. So, okay, well, ADHD, sorry. So see how, this is how it's supposed to go. But when you're not looking at it this way and you're looking at the chart, I kept thinking this was the correct way because then he was, you know, that way. So, when I first started, I started it upside down. Luckily, I was able to just turn it over. So this is where it showed up on my fabric instead of a, you know, this is how I thought I was starting it, like that. But in actuality, it's down there. So, this is my start, and I'm really happy with that start. And how freaking cute is that sloth, man? Okay, that's the correct coloring there. Now I'm going to bring it in so you can see detail. Look at him. How cute is he? I still have to do his toes. This is going to be a B right here. There's a lot of little details in here. And so, yeah, happy with this one. This is not going to take overly long, I don't think, but it's also a new start, and it's not on my list of things to focus on, so I don't know that it'll be coming back out anytime soon. Okay, then the whips that I worked on. The first one, which I was working on last time I saw you too, and I've done some more work on it. This is In My Father's House from By the Bay Needle Art. Looks like this. And I am doing this on a 32 count sandstone tea-dyed linen from Zweigart, I believe, as charted. And this one has some specialty stitches in it, as a road stitch in it. I am doing 2/2 full cross, if I can figure out how this goes, and I actually made quite a bit of progress. So I'm almost done with the one side. And this is, I really like this, working on this. So here's where I'm at. All of this is new progress over here. And then I finished out this side of the house, made a lot of progress on the roof. I'm going to bring it in so you can see the roof. At first, when I was doing the road stitches, I couldn't really tell, but as more and more got added, I really like how they look. So that's the road stitch. These are just, it's just really good. And I think it's all, is it all DMC? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, it's all DMC, which, I mean, it looks fabulous. So that's my progress. Like this one a lot. And so I would really like to finish this one in 2025. So it will come back out at some point again this year, and then I'll probably work on it to a finish. All right, then, oh, and I did a total of 2,921 additional stitches on that one. Then I pulled out Haunted Carnival, and I worked on this one for 2 days. Added in 784 stitches. This is from Flossy Fox Shop. I absolutely love all things like Night Circus, Haunted Carnival, Haunted Amusement Fair, Ghosty, anything ghosty. Love it all. So I saw this and I was like, I need to do that. Now, this is much smaller than I thought it was going to be. Now, granted, I'm doing it on 18 count Frankenstein by Be Stitch Me. I kind of wish now that I had, honestly, I wish I had gone with a 14 count. I don't often say that, but I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. So, now, Flossy Fox Shop, love Flossy Fox Shop, love her designing. Very, very, very color change heavy. So what I typically do is I pick a color, like I'll look at where I'm at in the pattern, find what my next thing is, pick that color, and then I'll just take that color and use it until I run out of it, and then I'll move on to the next color. So I have done, okay, let's see, more than half. I don't know. I have done more than a quarter, but it's like more than that quarter. Do you know what I mean? So this is where I've been working. Kind of like I finished this entire page. Let's say that. So I finished this full page, but some things I went into and then some down here into this page. I should just show it to you. This is my progress. So much fun. And I was really enjoying this. I really like working on this. Carnival Master there. Carnival Mistress. I mean, look at how fun this is. Little Haunted Carousel. We've got our ghosties. There are so many cool things in here. So like this right here. So this is a hand. This is like a haunted hand, and it's playing like put the ring around the stick game, and there's your rings. All around here are the rings. Isn't that fun? And so it has like a lot of little details like that that I really just think are so cool. Yeah, I love the ghosts. I love how these ghosts are done. That broken up coaster, very cool. I'm excited to do this in here for some reason, and I love this like dead dragon there. How cute is that? So yeah, as charted on the what did I say this? Frankenstein. Okay, and then the last thing I worked on, and this is I'm not taking this to Myrtle Beach with me, but when I get back, I think I'm going to continue working on it. And I'm going to try to get a finish on this. So this is In Praise of Pollinators from the Blue Flower. This is like the most genius chart. I'm in love with this chart. And what I'm doing is I'm picking, I'm going from like, completing sections, but I'm finding like a motif. So like, for example, the bat. I finished the bat. And then I worked on these flowers and finished those out. Then I did, moved into this middle in here. And so I'm doing sections. So I added, let's see, I added a lot of stitches into this. I did. All right, I have put in 4,738 stitches since the last time you saw this, and worked on it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days. So pretty much like a week's focus so far. Everything I've done, you can see in my Q-snap. And I love this so much. Janine McGowan is like a creative goddess. I totally fangirl her. She's so good. These colors. So let's just look here. Look at the detail. Look at those little bees. The details that she's able to put into things that are quite small. Ugh. This is where I'm working at today. So today, so far, I've done this section. My goal is trying to get this entire section done before I leave on vacation, which is tomorrow morning, but I doubt it'll get done. Highly, highly, highly recommend if you are doing In Praise of Pollinators. Lala D Stitches did a stitch along for this when it first came out. And I want to say there's 8 parts maybe, where she goes through and she explains each of the types of everything that's in here. She explains it. I actually am about to go back and watch it because for the life of me, like, I think this is a hummingbird, but at the same time, like, when I look real close at it, I'm not sure. So I'm going to go through and give it a watch again. And I just love those videos. I just think they're fun to watch. And they're relaxing. She could totally do like ASMR, a whole series of ASMR with just those videos. So, all right, so that's where I'm at with that. So that is the progress that I have made since I saw you guys last. Okay, FlossTube recommendation. Antique Needleworker. She just did, it's one of her latest. It might be, I don't know, I was like really behind, so it could have been a video or 2 ago. She does Maker's Moment, and in there she gets into she tells a story. Okay, she has identified with a cross stitch, and she said it's almost like it was designed just for her. And so she went through and told everything about this cross stitch, this whole how it fits into her story. And then bottom line is she's telling us how we should find pieces that allow us to cross stitch our story and then what to do with them. And I don't want to say more than that because she says it so much more brilliantly than I can. And it was just a fantastic video. So I'm going to link directly to that video down below so that you can check it out. Okay, let's look at my my haul. I've gotten quite a few things since I saw you last. So I got some fabric. First, I'll show you Millennial Fabrics, which is my favorite online needle store, ONS. And they are a fabric dyer. and they dye beautiful fabrics. And I am going to join their Fabric of the Month club here. I think once my Fox and Rabbit Fabric of the Month, once that one's done, I'm going to join Millennial Fabrics, because you'll see these are just beautiful. So she did a drop night where she put up remainders that they had from their Fabric of the Month. And so they're not ones in their regular collection, and it's like just whoever can grab them first. So I picked up a few. So first I got Mint Julep. I actually got 2 Mint Juleps. I got one in a 40 count, and I got one in an 18 count. And I think they look very different, but that could just be me. So this is how they look. And Millennial Fabrics has such, I mean, they're just beautiful. So this one is, these are both quarters. So that's the first one. That's my 40 count linen. And I feel like this is not doing justice to these colors. Okay, and then a quarter. This is the 18 count. I'm trying to see if I can get a good coloring. Like, this is showing up. It's not far from accurate, but it's a bit more in person. You can see, like, it's a little darker green than what you're seeing in that camera. And I'll tag Millennial Fabrics down below. So she is back on, Sarah is back on FlossTube. She has done a few now, and her channel is Millennial Stitches. So please go check her out. Join the Facebook group. Highly recommend joining her Facebook group. And she is prepping for her first retreat. And I think her first retreat will be my first retreat. Because I'm a Millennial Fabric girl. And it's not too far for me. Like, I can drive there. Yeah, okay. So those two. Then I got Ocean Mist. This is a fat quarter, 18 count. Let's see if we can get a good color of this. That's pretty accurate. That washes out. That's too light. That's it there. That's the color. This one's super pretty. Perfect sky. And then the last one I got from Millennial Fabrics is Peach Cobbler, which I have another, I'm doing a Flossy Fox Shop dragon on Peach Cobbler, but it's the linen, and it looks, I love Peach Cobbler, but the linen's like softer almost. I mean, come on. How good is that? I just adore this color. It's so good. So that's 18 count Peach Cobbler, and this one, unfortunately, I was only able to get in a fat 1/8. But a fat 1/8 is better than no 1/8. Okay, then Fat Quarter Shop had a sale on their Fiber on a Whim. So I picked up 4 fabrics from them. So I got 18 count stone. It's like a gray. Then I got a 36 count Edinburgh linen lipstick. And I have recently discovered I love stitching on red. Red is just a fun fabric to stitch on. So I saw that, or like, I need that in my stash. And then I got Kunzite. This is an 18 count, fat quarter. It's like a purple gray. Very versatile. And the last one I got from that sale is a Lagoon. And this is a 36 count Edinburgh linen. And it's like a light aqua. It's pretty accurate there. So this will make for perfect water, I feel like. The need to do something for the ocean on this. All right, and then the last piece of fabric I got, my Fox and Rabbit. This was, I'm not sure which, thinking it was June. I'm not sure if this is June or July. I think June. Oh, anyway, it's Fox and Rabbit 18. I'm into 18 count, and this is Waddle. And I go through Garon Stitchery for this monthly club. I really like Fox and Rabbit fabrics. Theirs are so versatile. Like, you can use them on for anything. They're like my go-to for in stash kind of stuff. All right, then, so Millennial Fabric has a designer of the month that they feature each month. And this month it was Sprouting Lupine. So she did a feature live on Facebook. And I picked up 4 Sprouting Lupine charts. I'll show you my favorite first. This is Unicorn Garden. And I love that so much. It's just super fun. I'm thinking about taking and kitting this one up with me down in Myrtle Beach, because I am going to go to Barefoot Needle Art. I'm so excited. And it'll be so nice to see fabrics in person, to be able to buy them. All right, then I got Spells and Charms. I love the moons that are on there. I got Moonlit Spell. And the last one I got is called Delft Blooms. And isn't that pretty? Now, I think I am going to do I don't know what I'm going to do. Color. I might do some kind of conversion for that. I'm not sure yet. Or my own colors. Okay. And then I found a couple books on Pango that people had up for sale. And then I also found some used copies of books on Amazon that were in my on my wish list. So let's look at those first. Okay. This is my favorite of what I got. So this is Samplers from the Victoria and Albert Museum. And can I just tell you the beauty that is these charts. I am inspired, and there are no charts in here. It's the actual like stuff they have on display, and there's a ton in here, a ton. So I really want to try my hand. We'll see, and God only knows when I'll do it. At doing some kind of recreation for some of them. I mean, they're so beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, like, oh God, I don't even know where to start. Like, look at this. They're so unique. There are motifs I've never seen in samplers before. Like that one was from mid-19th century. It's an English sampler. This is a English sampler from 1784. It's the 10 Commandments. Isn't that cool? I wish that they kind of gave the stories about each one. They don't. They do give some detail. So like up front, it has like each of the plate numbers and then tells you where it's from, what it was stitched on, if there's like specialty stitches that they can identify, and then who donated it. And then in the back, it has some stitches and technique discussions. I mean, God, look at this. Look at that. And it will take like those, and then here's a close-up of a really pretty detail. So like, that's this in here. I mean, these are just, I desperately want to go to the Victoria and Albert Museum. I want to see these samplers in person. So that's my favorite of what I got. Then I got Splendid Samplers to Cross Stitch. 35 original patterns from Chris Rankin. Looks like this. This was a used copy also. Now this one actually has charts in it. Now they're not the easiest to read charts, but there's some really pretty. But like, look at this. This is a wildflower sampler. How cool is that? So there's several in here I want to do. I love samplers so much. This is the one from the front. This is a Caribbean sampler. Isn't that cool? Okay, so I got this. Then I got this. This is Better Homes and Gardens, America's Best Cross Stitch. I got this because I thought this is the one that had the Spanish sampler in it that Jen the Caffeinated Crafter is doing. It doesn't. So that was a disappointment. But there are some nice things in here. So this one, again, this one has charts in it. This is old. This is old. When is this from? This is from 1988. So that is an oldie. Charted Peasant Designs from Saxon, Transylvania, edited by Heinz Edgar Q. This is a Dover needlework series. And again, this is one that you can use to create your own sampler, which is, these are all charts, so I really can't show you anything in here, but very, very cool. Again, very much inspired. I got Cross Stitch Myth and Magic, Wizards, Angels, Dragons, Mermaids, Cherubs, Unicorns, and Fairies. And this has some Teresa Wentzler in it. Is it this one that has the Teresa in it? Like, I really like this. Beautiful. I like this one a lot. This is called A Stranger Cometh from Susan Penny. It's a good Santa. Yes, this is the Teresa Wentzler here, and I love this. This is Princess, what's it called? Princess and Dragon? The Princess and the Dragon. Isn't that gorgeous? So I definitely plan on doing that one. All right, so I got that, and then Beautiful Cross Stitch from Joan Elliott. No, not beautiful. Bewitching Cross Stitch, which is this one. Again, I just love dragons so much. I mean, there's some really, really pretty. Like, this is called Mother Moon. Mother Moon. Look at that. She's beautiful. A Wizard's View. Not pretty. So again, just another great triangle. When am I gonna stitch all these things? I better live a couple lives or like be able to take these with me whenever I die. Okay, so I had gotten those. We have a like newish used bookstore in our mall. Like, nobody works there. You just do self-checkout and you go through all their stuff and things like that. So they did have several cross-stitch things. I ended up finding an American Sampler 1989 by the Vanessa Ann Collection. Quilt Designs and Cross-Stitch by the Vanessa Ann Collection. So pick that up for like $2. And it's like sampler quilts that are turned into samplers. So there's some nice little things in here. Like, look, this is so cute. This reminds me of The Princess and the Pea. That is what it's called. It's called The Princess and the Pea, so that would be why it reminds me of that. Except for the fact that the princess looks to be quite old, I think. So got that one. Then I got 2 more Emma Congdons because, you know, I love this one so much. I was like, well, I probably need to get her other ones. So I got Cross Stitch for the Soul. And this is the back of that one. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. It's very pretty. I really like that one. All right, and then I got Cross Stitch for the Heart, which is this one. And I love this Queen of Hearts. Look at this. Look at her. It's so good. All right. Then, as a surprise, I didn't know was coming. I got this book for the first time last year, and apparently, since I got it, I'm now on the We don't have to wait for you to send us back your thing. We're just going to send it to you. And then if you don't like it, you can send it back, but you know I'm going to keep it. So this is a cross stitch Christmas for 2025, Comfort and Joy. And this is what the front looks like. And that's a good Santa. Here's the back. And there are some really good designs in here. And there are some Emma Congdons in here. I turned the first one, I'm like, that looks like Emma Congdon. It is Emma Congdon. So that was exciting. Like, look at this. I love this. Tuxedo Christmas. Huh. How cute are those guys? There's actually several Emma Congdons in here. This one, I saw this and I was like, that looks like Emma. It is Emma right here. I like that one a lot. So there's really, really good designs in here. If you guys would like to see a flip through of this, let me know. We can do that if you want me to. If you would like to see it, to know whether or not you want to order it. And then this always comes with like a free gift. So even if you decide you don't want to keep it, you get to keep the free gift. And it, this year it was the Craftways Village Square Cross Stitch Collection. So it's this little pamphlet and it has these in it. That's fine. Like, it's not that great, but it was free. I really like the book though. Okay. Whew, that was a heck of a haul. All right, that was my haul. Next up, I wanted to talk a little bit about preferences. So I'm the kind of person that doesn't have a lot of like, if somebody says, what's your favorite color? I can't give one color as an answer. I have my preferences. Like, favorite's supposed to be your one thing that you love. Well, my favorite color is like blue, purple, and pink all together, or pink and black together, or blue and green together. You know what I mean? So like, I have my preferences. I have things that most of the time, I don't see things in black and white. Everything is gray to me. And I'm sure that has something to do with working in mental health and learning about such a vast array of peoples and beliefs and exposure. I have preferences. I don't have a lot. I don't see black and white. I see the gray in between. Everything is like, maybe. So I was going to tell you guys a little bit about my cross-stitching preferences. So again, these are not hard and fast rules, but these are just things I prefer, but not always. So for example, I prefer leaving my, so for DMC, I prefer them to be on the skeins instead of bobbinated. Whenever I was cross-stitching the first time, like many years ago, I used to bobbinate my floss, and I don't like how it wrinkles whenever it's in there. And to me, it's just as easy to just keep it in the skein, pull out, and then I like, whenever I'm done with it, I just kind of like tie it around the middle. So that's my preference for DMC. And then all my specialty flosses, I keep on the floss tags that they come with. And anything that comes on a spool stays on a spool. My preferred fabric is 18 count 8/0. That's kind of like my go-to. However, I will stitch on anything from 14 count 8/0 to 40 count linen. I have not gone any smaller than 40 count linen, like 46. I just don't know that I could do it. So to me, like I was saying earlier, what type of fabric I'm going to stitch on is really dependent upon the chart and what kind of stitches it calls for, and how much like jump counting I'm going to have to do and that kind of thing. So my stash has everything in it, but if you were to look at what I have the most of, for sure it's 18 count 8/0. I prefer to stitch in the typewriter, I think that's what it's called, right? Typewriter method, where you do full X's across and then down. That's more of a recent preference for me. I used to like to go like all the way over and then back. except with variegated, I would do the full crosses. I'm finding that I really like the tension it gives on the front of the project for whenever you do I think it's the typewriter method, full crosses all the way over and then back across. So that's my preferred stitching method. Now, again though, it's gonna depend on where things are. Typically I am a bottom left corner to top right corner, bottom right corner to top left corner. But depending on what's happening, sometimes I have to come in from the left, or I'm sorry, from the right top down to the bottom left. Sometimes I have to do, it just is very dependent. Sometimes I do like every other one. So again, it depends on the stitch. There is no hard and fast rule, but my preference is that way. I prefer my scissors to have charms and fobs on them. More so because it helps me not lose them. And I just think they're fun. Something that's an absolute 100% of the time, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. I am a magnifier girl. I wear my, I have these. I just had to get a new one. I can't tell you how many pairs of these I've had because, you know, I use them every single day until they wear out. So this is the brand that I get. I've had so many. This one has 4 lights on the front, 2 different settings. It comes with 6, 5. It comes with 5 different magnifying lenses, and you can swap them out. I typically use the lowest one right now, but I always have my and I'm talking public, okay? So if you see me stitching out in the wild, I don't care. I'm wearing these. I don't care how crazy I look. These are on my face, okay? So that's 100% of the time. That's not a preference. That is an absolute have to do that. My preference is paper charts. Of course, I buy charts from electronically. And those ones I'll typically put into Markup XP, but I'm just a very tactile person. So like for books, everything, I really prefer in my hand, let me hold it, paper. So if I can get a paper chart, I'm getting a paper chart. I really like the pony block needles. I've seen some people complaining about them recently. I'll use any needle. My preferred is a 28 count or 28 point. How do you know, the 28, size 28? Obviously if I'm using a 14 count, then I use like a 26. I don't want to have to keep trying to catch my needles it falls through, but I really like those pony black needles, and I definitely want to get some more of them. My preferred way of stitching is color completion. There's just something that feels so good about that. For larger projects, I start to color complete towards the end. So I'll typically like do page completion, then towards the end I'll start picking out colors and I'll color complete. But there's just something that feels really good about color completing. I don't do monochrome, period. I did one monochrome and I regret not adding at least one other color to it. So always at least 2 colors for me, preferably more. And I really do like to do my own conversions. Although, again, it just depends. Sometimes, there's no need to do a conversion on Satsuma Street. I'm sorry. Satsuma Street, her color choices are amazing. Blue Flower, the color choices are just clutch. They're so good. So, there's some people I wouldn't, but I really do enjoy doing a conversion, especially like a conversion to Fancy Floss. I have a nice collection. I will not use Temu floss. I bought it to see how I liked it. Looks very nice. It was horrible to work. It knotted so bad. Like I did a little Halloween ornament. Actually, hold on. This is my box of finishes that need to be completed. I will show you what I did with Temu floss. Okay, this was my Temu floss right here. This was from one of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween specials. And it looks very nice, okay? I mean, the colors look great. miserable to work with. Absolutely miserable to work with. So I don't care how it looks. I don't care that it's like super affordable and super cheap. I will not stitch with it ever again. I threw it all. I couldn't even bring myself to like put it in for garage sale because I didn't want to do that to somebody else. So none of that. My preferred way is a top left start. Again, it depends on the pattern. Sometimes I'll do a middle start. But I prefer top left and working down from there. And then the last preference we'll talk about is I prefer to stitch with a Q-snap with felt around the things. I just cut little felt. I have a ton of felt laying around, and I just cut little felt pieces and put that in here. See, you can see there's my felt, and I don't know. It adds a little, makes it a little thicker, so it doesn't. It really keeps a very tight. I like a tight. I like when my fabric's tight. I will occasionally, this is like my preferred 2 hoop here. This one, what is this? 11 by 11, I think. But I'll mix it up depending on what I'm doing. And if I have like a small ornament, I will literally try to find a very small hoop or nurge or something to be able to hold it. Otherwise, then I do resort to the hand stitching, even though I don't like it at all. All right, so those are my preferences. Do you guys have any preferences? Like, what's your go-tos? I would love to know. You can tell me about that down in the comments. Okay, I am going to do another shelf spotlight for you guys. So I am, let's see, the opposite of a minimalist. If you can tell, these are my shelves, but you guys don't even see half of my shelves. And I get questions about my shelves all the time. So I thought I'm going to start going through and doing like little tours of each shelf. So I'm going to show you guys my second shelf today, one that's up there that you don't typically get to see. So I'm going to put a picture of what it looks like all together up here. And then give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to clean up my area, taking down the shelf, and I'm going to show you guys everything on my shelf. And I think that is legitimately like the way to get to know me. If you know my shelves, if you come examine my shelves, I think you know me as a person. I'm back. All right, so first we will look at the like ephemera that I have on the shelves, and then we will go through the books from that shelf. Okay, so first up, I have my needle minder collection on my one sock. What's this thing called? Pennant. So one sock is from the, where's it at? Up here. From the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. And so this came in a Lit Joy box, I think it was, or Fairy Crate, one of those things. And I just keep all my needle minders on it. Most of them. There's a couple that stay by my seat, but these are from all different things. A lot of from boxes, with the exception of, this is my one sock pin that came in the box with it, and then this is a Steelers pin down here, Immaculate Reception pin, so that lives on there also. Right, then I have hanging up on there, this is the first cross stitch I ever had. This was a gift from my mom. She made this for me in 1983 for my second Christmas, I believe that would have been. I was born in 81, so Dumbo, isn't he so cute? I think she did such a good job. So yeah, my mom doesn't stitch anymore, but so this stays out all year because I love it. I have this Pregnancy Angel. This was one of my favorite gifts I was given whenever I was pregnant with Cassidy. Who's this by? Down to Earth Angels, Hallmark, by Hallmark. Is she cute? Look at the little pregnant tummy. You can see how, look at, this is gross. How dusty my stuff is. Look at that, that's dust. I need the dust. But like, it's not easy to dust stuff like this. Okay. And then on the back it says, because life is such kicks. This Fairy. I love her. And I have had her, my best friend in high school, Jamie. She got her for me one year for Christmas, I believe. And isn't she pretty? So I want to say I've had her since I was like a junior in high school. And this is from Fairy Glen collection. And I just think she's gorgeous. So she's been with me for a long time. She's gone to college with me and everything. My husband got me the Cokes from Stranger Things. Had a special collection of Cokes, so they are all different shelves. But the original taste, Coca-Cola, and it has on the back from Netflix Stranger Things. So, yeah. This is a Hedwig stuffed animal that, again, came in one of my Harry Potter boxes I got many, many years ago. This is from, I used to get a subscription to Pip Sticks. So one of these things came with all of them. It just has little stuff in it, but this one says, I'd rather stay home. So I leave this open on my shelf like this because I would rather stay home most of the time. I have a Funko, this is a mini Funko Pop of a Thestral. I think, if I'm pretty correct, I got the Harry Potter Funko calendar one year. This is a monkey that belonged to my grandmother. She had this out for many, many years. So when she passed, this is one of the things I took to remember her. She collected monkeys. She loved monkeys so much. So I just took this little guy, and it's a monkey, and look, hello baby, how cute. I have Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek. One of the best characters ever. Funko. I collect Funkos. The other two Funkos that live on this shelf are Daryl and Kelly from The Office. I have this Snoopy. This was from a blind box that my daughter got for Christmas, and sometimes this stuff just shows up on my shelves. A lot of times Cassidy will bring stuff in, or my husband brings stuff in. Sometimes my niece just puts stuff on my box. So this was from Cassidy, this little Snoopy ornament. And then the last piece of ephemera from this shelf is one of my Alice teacups from Disney. Love that. Not cool. All right, so that's the ephemera. Now, let's take a look at my books. So I have read thousands of books in my lifetime. I have owned and gotten rid of so many books. So what I ultimately keep are ones that I haven't read yet that I want to, or ones that I just loved so much that I know at some point I'm going to reread them. Excuse me. So this shelf is primarily Christian fiction, but there's some other things in here that are not Christian fiction. But these are some of my favorites. So the first one is author Linda Nichols. And unfortunately, from what I can tell, she only wrote 4 books, and I have them all. And they're from the second, I think it's the Second Chance series is what it's called. So this consists of Not a Sparrow Falls, If I Gain the World, At the Scent of Water, and In Search of Eden. I love these. I love these books so much. Highly recommend them. So good. These are older too. Let's see. 2002. Wow, these are like 20 years old. 2003. So like early 2000s. Okay, so those are very good. Recommend those. This is a series I was gifted by a friend who has since passed, my friend Bev. And she gave them to me because she thought that I would really enjoy them. And I have so far read 2 of the 4, and I actually really do enjoy them. So this is from the Hawthorne House series. These are by Christy Ann Hunter. So the first one's A Noble Masquerade, and this book, I laughed out loud at this book. This is so funny. So this is like a Christian romance, but it's not, I don't feel like, none of them are like punch you in the face with the Christian references. Like it's just fits perfectly in the story. This one's so funny. So this one, I loved this. Bev was 1000% correct that I would love this. And she had in the front, she had written, like, this one says 5 stars, a keeper, very fun and entertaining, and I 100% agree with it. These are historical, take place during, like, Renaissance, Regency romances. So Noble Masquerade, and then I read An Elegant Facade, and this one, I still really enjoy this one, but it was not as good as the first one. And then the other two that I still have, that I have not read yet, the last 2 from the series are An Inconvenient Beauty and An Uncommon Courtship. So I will eventually get to those. They are fun reads. Yeah, definitely recommend if you're looking for a fun historical romance that will keep you entertained. These 2 are not Christian. These are Jen Kalanita. These are the Fairy Tale Reform School. Flunked. I read this one. This one was good. Our mission, to turn wicked delinquents and former villains into future heroes. And then the second one is Charmed. And so I haven't read this one yet. I would like to. I'm keeping these with the purpose of giving these to my niece or reading them with her at some point. Okay, Patty Callahan. These are related books, not the same books, but related. So this is Becoming Mrs. Lewis. And this is a, what's it called? Narrative fiction, is that what it's called? Where it's like, it's based off of true stories, but then they fill in all kinds of stuff with fiction as well. So this one's about Lewis Carroll's, the woman that became his wife. And then this one is Once Upon a Wardrobe. And this one was so good. I mean, this is just a small book. Small. 200, yeah, I mean, it's less than 300 pages. And this one is about a little boy who, no, it's been a long time since I've read this. A little boy who's sick and absolutely loves The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe and all of the books that go into that series. And his sister, who's older, ends up forming a friendship with Lewis Carroll. And it's a beautiful story. So definitely recommend those ones. Okay. Then I have, these are actually, this is a prequel to another series. I think it was called the End of Days series. No, it's called the Chronicle of the Brothers series. This is the prequel to that. Now, so this is by Wendy Alec. The first one was called The Fall of Lucifer. And then this one is The First Judgment. I really enjoyed these two, okay? The series that it's a prequel to, it started out good, and then each book got progressively worse. Like not that the story's bad, but like the writing itself got progressively worse. However, the depictions of heaven and the Godhead and Jesus and the angel, the depictions in these speak to my soul, which is why I have these two still, because I would definitely do rereads of these. So recommend these. Don't necessarily recommend the Chronicles of the Brothers though. All right, another super fun trilogy. This is called the Butternut Creek Trilogy, and this is from Jane Myers Perrin. So we've got Welcome Committee of Butternut Creek, The Matchmakers of Butternut Creek, and The Wedding Planners of Butternut Creek. So this is about a pretty young priest who moves to this, is like assigned to this town. And in my head, for some reason, okay, you know, the guy who plays like the priest or pastor or whatever in the Young Sheldon series, in my head, it's him, like a young version of him. And these books are so funny. They're funny, they're wholesome, they're just super fun reads, and I cannot recommend them enough. They were 5 stars for me. All right, then Catherine Marshall. She primarily wrote nonfiction, but these are two that are historical fiction, and I absolutely love them. So the first one's Christy, and it's actually based on her grandmother, I think. I believe this one is based on her grandmother, and it takes place in Appalachia back in, looks like 1936 is whenever this takes place, or in the 30s. So good. Highly, highly recommend this. And then this one, Julie, is based on the Johnstown flood that occurred in the 1800s. So it might be early 1900s too. Oh, here we go. 1935. This one takes place in 1935 and is based on the Johnstown flood, which Johnstown has some family from Johnstown, not super far from where I'm at, which is what, look how pretty this is. Look at this cover. Isn't that gorgeous? So again, loved it. Very, very good books. Highly recommend both of these. All right, then I have my Francine Rivers collection. Most of these I have read. I'll show you the ones that I have not. So Leoda's Garden. This one tells a really, really great story of a grandmother. It's like 3 generations it tells. However, what I would have to warn you, it's a beautiful story, but this story is written in the 1999. And I will just tell you that there are some things you have to overlook in here. And because we've come a long way as a society since this was written. So very good, but I love the relationship they talk about in here. But there are some viewpoints in here that I really I don't stand behind. Okay. The duology, Her Mother's Hope and Her Daughter's Dream. This is, I think, 4 generation. This is epic, an epic family tale. And when I tell you that I ugly cried through these are big books. The last half of both of these books, I mean, these are 500, almost 500 page books. Ugly cried through both of them. It's such a beautiful story. And this is one of my favorites. Now, it's been a long time since I've actually read it, but God, I love it so much. So much. And the Shofar Blue. This one is about a pastor who falls from grace. Let's put it that way. Pastor that falls from grace. And I really enjoyed this one. The Masterpiece, this isn't one of my favorites by her, but there are things I really did enjoy about it. So this one is told during modern times, and it was fine. It's good. Not my favorite one by her, but still, I would recommend reading that one. Bridge to Haven, really love this one. This is about a girl who goes to Hollywood in the 50s or 60s, I think, and ends up coming home eventually. Special edition of Redeeming Love. I love this book. Not saying there aren't some problems in it, but it's such a good book. It's a hard read though. Let me tell you the topic. I mean, there's child essay in here, and so if you can't handle that, then you don't want to read it. Trust me. Then Lineage of Grace, another special edition, 20th anniversary, I think. So this one has 5 novellas in it about the women of the Bible: Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. Their stories are in here. So that's my, no. Then there's the 2 Francine Rivers I have not read that are on my shelf. Atonement Child's not on my shelf because I let somebody borrow it and they never gave it back. And then there's one other one. It was her newer one. It takes place in like the Old West, and I I didn't care for it, so I didn't keep it. So the ones I have not read yet is The Last Sin Eater and The Scarlet Thread. And I can't even tell you what they're about. I have no idea, but those are on my shelf to read still. Then the last book I have to show you, the last thing from the shelf, is Hands, Feet on High Places by Hannah Hurnard, an engaging visual journey. And this is an allegory based on the Song of Solomon, I think. Yeah, it's an allegory for the Song of Solomon. And it's, I mean, it's, oh God, it's beautiful. Like, there are some hand drawings, there's pictures in here. I think there were some places to journal. Yeah, like there were some places to journal, like journal pages here. Like this is the cover. I love this. This like really resonated with me. I mean, you can see my stickies here on the side. So yeah, this was really, it's beautiful. So definitely recommend this if you're looking for an inspiring, to me it was very inspiring. And I really liked it. So that's the end of my shelf tour. Okay. I'm going to put a picture of here. This is Cassidy's 16th birthday. This is the crazy dress I told you about. Her 16th birthday party went amazing. And she said it was one of the best days of her entire life. So this is my girl in her dress, my princess. So I just wanted to show you guys that because I've been telling you for a while that I was going to show it to you. And like I said, off to Myrtle Beach tomorrow, going to Barefoot Needle Art, which I'm so excited about. And then I found at least one flea market to stop at. I don't think is far from Barefoot Needle Art. They're both in Surfside. So that's my plan. And I'm just going to relax, maybe go on a ghost tour. I think I'm going to have my husband go on a ghost tour, a walking tour around Myrtle Beach. I think that'll be fun. And yeah, so this is a super long video and I thank you if you stuck around. I will catch up with you guys after my vacation. Bye.